Hi, my name is Andrew Bouley. I am currently a graduate of Duke University, and I spent my spring semester of 2006 in South Africa. I stayed in Kruger National Park for the majority of my time in South Africa. In that program, there were 10 Americans and 4 South Africans, and we all worked together as a team. And some days we would spend all day in classroom, but most days we would be in the field. We would wake up around 7 a.m. and then by 8 o'clock we were driving to the field. One of my projects that I did was studying the biodiversity of dung beetles. To do this, we first had to go collect dung. So we went out and took a big shovel and a bucket, and we collected elephant dung, and then we used buffalo dung. So we scooped it up. It smells like shit, basically, because it's shit. And we would come back and mold it and put in these little satchels and put it over a bucket. We'd dig a hole in the ground and put a bucket and put the dung in the middle of it and see what type of dung beetles fall into the bucket. And basically we want to see if different dung attracted different types of dung beetles. One time we were in the field and we were doing a herpetology study, which is basically the study of lizards and snakes. And we were trying to check the biodiversity of different areas of the savanna. So we caught one snake, and it somehow ends up on my lap for the whole game drive vehicle back. These roads are not necessarily paved all the time. They're very rocky, and we'd be bouncing in the air, and there'd be a snake on my lap, and it'd be like bouncing. And I'm just trying to keep it calm and kind of going with the motion of the bus. And when we get back to our living area, they call their herpetology expert and describe its features, and it turns out that was a boomslang, which happens to be the most venomous snake in South Africa. And basically, if that thing bites you, it liquefies your organs. So that was kind of a unique experience to have on my lap. I remember one time when we went to go to a braai, which was basically the South African barbecue, and we were driving and there was a pack of hyenas in the road. And then people were leaning over the game drive vehicle looking at the hyenas, and when they were looking down, the hyenas were looking up, and there was about that much space between our faces and the hyenas' faces. So the hyenas could easily just jump up and snap. And hyenas have one of the strongest jaws of land mammals, and if they came and bit your face, it would definitely crush your bone. Africa has a completely different culture than from the United States. I would just be, I'd be walking around the towns, rural towns, and kids would just be playing with like an old soccer ball, and they'd be so happy. And then when you compare this to, kids in the US who have to have their Xbox 360 and otherwise they cry and throw a temper tantrum. It was just so different. These kids barely have water and food, and yet they're thrilled to be alive and playing soccer. And we played soccer all the time. It was basically a mandatory requirement for the course. And it was fun. It was really a team building experience. Not only did we get to know the South Africans, including our cooks and game guards, but we also got to learn a little bit about each other and just really work as a team. So the hardest part about South Africa was actually leaving South Africa. It was definitely tough to say goodbye to these people, especially the South Africans, because those people you weren't sure if you would ever see again. And I mean, like I said, we were basically family. We really did live together. They were my best friends, and it's tough to go from complete contact to almost no contact.